continue the work of the African American Reparations Advisory Committee, which sunsets in January of 2024, to work on the dedicated resources to fund reparations recommendations that will staff the reparations work, including providing administrative and fiscal support towards developing the execution plan, provide resources to research individuals who qualify, all reparations programming, and to fund some of the approved reparations recommendations. Today, we will hear from the African American Reparations Advisory Committee Chair and Vice Chair, Eric McDonald and Tanisha Hollins. Then we will have time for questions, discussions, and colleagues. Then we'll go into public comment, which will be 1 minute apiece today. And in order to achieve reparations, we will need our Latino allies, our Asian allies, our PI allies, our Jewish allies, our Arab allies, our white allies, our LGBTQ allies, and the entire San Francisco populace to make this happen. And the last thing I want to say is we have to conduct this hearing as a family. I know there are going to be so many amazing public statements, so many things that are going to be said that are going to get us excited. But if we could please refrain from clapping and do our spirit hands so we can move through the hearing and give everybody an opportunity. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Supervisor Walton.
And now we're going to bring up Chair Eric McDonald and Vice Chair Tanisha Hollins.
McDonald, Ms. Hollins, welcome.
Thank you, President Peskin, members of the board. We're going to pull up a deck. As soon as it's up, I will get started. Again, Eric McDonald, had the honor and privilege of serving as chair of the San Francisco African American Reparations Advisory Council. It has been my distinct honor to work with my colleagues and to carry this work. We can go to the next slide. I know we've already acknowledged the members, but I also just wanted to add to what Supervisor Walton said, which is just to acknowledge the enormity of the task, the weight of the task, the emotional toil that this work has taken by every single member of the committee. And so just want to add my both acknowledgement and thank you to them for standing, us being able to stand together. Next slide, please. You all know the timeline. I won't go line by line, but just to underscore the importance of, as President Peskin began this item, the importance of A, the standing up of the office, and B, beginning to take action such that there is sufficient infrastructure ready to take over once the committee sunsets in January of 2024. Next slide, please. So you'll recall that we divided the work amongst these 4 issue areas: education, economic empowerment, which includes housing, workforce and economic development, health, and then public policy. Next slide. Why reparations? Why are we even here? Well, you know well the history of this out, drove you out, caused you to go east and west and other places, returning to the South. Not seen one that said, we want you back. And here are our concerted, intentional efforts to bring you back. And so today, I'm going to the next slide, we continue to live a tale of at least two cities. And the reality is the median income for Black households in San Francisco is less than 1/4 than that of white households in the city. And so to summarize then, why reparations? One, to address the structural and institutional harms. Two, to account for the generations of unpaid debt to San Francisco's Black communities. Three, the moral imperative to create policy that centers and benefits Black communities. And then we have a once-in-a-generation opportunity to work to close the racial wealth gap. Once again, San Francisco stands at the precipice of being a leader. Next slide. And in this case, demonstrating to this country what centering Black folks, repairing the harms caused to Black folks, and rebuilding of the pathways to wealth building for Black folks can look like. And this slide just illustrates the number of efforts that have sprung up across our state. And if we were to pan out, we'd see a country where there are many other efforts that are underway. San Francisco stands at the doorstep to lead in this social justice issue. And we look forward to the opportunities. Going to invite now Vice Chair Hollins to come and review the recommendations for you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. McDonald. Good afternoon, Ms. Hollins.
Good afternoon to President Peskin, to all members of the board. I will echo Chair McDonald's sentiments that this is indeed one of the greatest honors of my lifetime to stand in front of you with the recommendations that we have worked hard over the last 2 years and listening directly to members from our community on how San Francisco can help heal Black San Francisco, how we can work to close the racial wealth gap, how we can ensure that these harms are not repeated, and that we can take our place as we so love to call ourselves a world-class city that we know we are. Next slide, Joel. So our final report, we are proud to announce, was submitted on July 7th. Thank you very much, Chair. A culmination of months and months of public comment and testimony, obviously research and chronicling of the harms that we know have experienced here in San Francisco by our Black community, but also thoughts and ideas of ways to repair harm, and specifically what is actionable, what is doable, and what you all can support right now in this moment. Next slide. So there are 3 overreaching recommendations that we are making as a committee and as a community that we would like the City and County of San Francisco to enact. First would be a formal apology for the harms that Black San Franciscans have experienced, and a commitment to not repeat those harms, but also to be proactive about enacting legislation and making decisions that will put the Black community in San Francisco at an advantage. So that means being thoughtful and being mindful about how we move forward, not just looking at the policies that we know did damage, but being mindful about how we center Black people in the policies that we have moving forward. So first, a formal apology and taking a stand to end the systematic and programmatic harms that have happened to Black San Francisco. The second is the standing up of the Office of Reparations. We are glad that there have now been funds put aside to establish that office. Our committee will continue to meet from now until January 2024 when we sunset. A focal point of our conversation will be how that office is structured, what supports will need to be in place for members of our community, and again, how we can work in partnership to make sure that the recommendations in this report are brought to fruition. And then third is that the City and County of San Francisco create and fund, I'll pause there because we need resources to make sure that happens, a committee of community stakeholders And an example of what this could be is a reparations stakeholder authority or some independent entity that would ensure the equity and the continuity of implementation that we actually move forward on these policy initiatives that are created here in San Francisco to heal our community. So those are the three overall recommendations that we would like to see a commitment to. Next slide, Joelle. Thank you. So in the four areas, after months of meeting and community engagement processes, giving community members an opportunity to democratically rank in some ways the things that they saw as top priority for our community right now, we were able to develop a more comprehensive list of immediate next steps that this city can move forward on. So in the area of economic empowerment, we fully expect that we would see financial reparations. We do not think that this needs to be a zero-sum game or one where we have to take one form of repair over the other. All of the repair needs to happen. And so we are still calling for financial reparations. A priority would be a lump sum payment to each eligible individual. Our assessment was that that's $5 million, but we continue to look and figure out what financial compensation can look like for Black San Franciscans. We want to supplement our Black households to close that racial wealth gap. We know the AMI here in San Francisco is extraordinarily high, and we want to close that. We are looking for rental and housing home ownership opportunities for all who qualify. This includes accessibility. So while we know San Francisco is prioritizing affordable housing, we want to make sure that that housing is accessible to Black San Franciscans, because we know that many of our people get excluded through the eligibility processes and application processes. We want folks to have access not only to affordable housing, but for ownership opportunities, and we expect subsidies to be in place to support that work. Spatial justice, something that we are very big on, making sure that we have thriving Black spaces and not just one neighborhood or pockets of San Francisco, but all over San Francisco. Every neighborhood in San Francisco should have a thriving Black cultural district or cultural space where Black businesses, Black cultural activities, fun and enjoyment can also be experienced. Our food, our music, we should not walk into neighborhoods where we hear ourselves but don't see ourselves. We're looking for support for job creation and succession. We want to build a bench that invests in jobs, so we know that San Francisco continues to attract new sectors and innovation. We want to make sure that Black people are centered in accessing and creating those opportunities here. And we're looking for multi-million-dollar investments in Black business ownership. Black entrepreneurship is not only a path for closing the wealth gap and making sure that our families can sustain here in the city in their future, but it also contributes to the culture of this city. It is what makes San Francisco attractive, having Black business and entrepreneurship accessible to everyone. Next slide. Education continues to be a top priority for us. We know that our students are underserved in the San Francisco Unified School District, and we want that to change. And while we understand that the different authorities that have limited control over each other, we are still calling for you all to work in partnership and prioritize healing the harm that's been done to Black students in San Francisco and creating new educational pathways for our community. So first and foremost, our community has been very vocal about the creation of a Black school. We've talked about a K through 12 school. There's also been a call for pre-K and for historically Black college or university to be located here in San Francisco. I see some of you smiling. I know there's a commitment to this, so we fully expect to see this come to life. We know that there's opportunities right here in front of us to establish a HBC. Y'all can clap. Go ahead. Y'all can clap. That's all right. Yeah, because make no mistake, this is a celebration. This is a celebration not only for how far we've come, but for what we know is going to happen when we finish giving our summary of our best thinking. We fully expect the next steps to be the action. So we are celebrating that the city likes the idea of having an HBCU and a Black school and Black trade schools and anywhere else where our people can get education. We want to continue the recruitment and retaining of African-American educators. We learn better when we learn with our own educators. We receive knowledge and wisdom and knowledge of self from our own educators. want to increase the recruitment of African American educators. We want to interrupt the school to prison pipeline. In order to do that, we not only need cultural competency to deal with the trauma and the harm that we have experienced in the education setting and other settings as well, but ways to empower our community to do what is natural to us in terms of healing. There are so many things that we do in the African American community that are part of our cultural practice to heal through and to process the things that we experience, to reaffirm who we are, our beauty, our creativity, and to create space for all other people and not just Black people. We want to see more of that. We want more pathways for our students to pursue traditional and non-traditional educational opportunities here in the city. And we want to work very closely with the district attorney and public defender's offices to implement cash incentive program. And this would be for those who are at risk for formerly justice involved. Now, this recommendation came with some scrutiny. Why do we need to pay people to not commit crime? Don't be that disingenuous. That is not what we're suggesting. What we know to be true is that Black people are overrepresented in the criminal justice system, and that when you are had past contact with the criminal justice system, you live with 40,000 legal restrictions. That means you do not have access to housing, employment, and you cannot meet your basic needs. You are less likely to reoffend and commit a crime if you can meet your basic needs. So we want to make sure that people who have had past contact with the criminal justice system have a new opportunity to stabilize their lives. And in that way, they can make better choices for themselves and be a part of restoring our community. Health. It is not a secret that the Black community in San Francisco is overrepresented in our health disparities as physical, medical, mental health. And we want desperately to move beyond that to healing. We want to see the creation of Black-centered medical and mental health spaces throughout San Francisco. We would like to see free access to those programs for Black people. We want long-term structural investment in creating those replacement clinics and programs in our communities, because we know that the Department of Public Health has the capacity to do so. And so we are calling on the city to support us with that. We also want safer spaces. And we want diversity of safe spaces in our communities throughout the city, for people to process and heal, for people to work through their trauma, but also, again, to create new spaces where we can create more joy. And that is a part of our health. Next page. Policy. So it's important for us to continue addressing the historical policies that we know still linger somewhere in our city codes and charters and policies that reinforce the situation that we have right now in Black San Francisco. We want to make sure that any existing local policies that we introduce have an intention to reverse those harms. So again, let's be innovative. Let's be mindful about the things that we're suggesting. We understand there's been a lot of conversation about Prop 209 and other things that would have been tools or vehicles for us to name specific benefits for people groups like the Black community that don't exist right now. What we are saying is that that did not prevent you from finding ways to run resources to specific groups and communities in San Francisco. Absent of 209, we've still found a way to prioritize support and services for the API community, for the LGBT community, for other underrepresented communities in San Francisco. So we are charging you to utilize your policy to do the same thing for Black San Francisco. And of course, we want to continue working with you all for the successful implementation of policy. So the independent stakeholder advisory group is going to be very important, working with the Office of Reparations and with city leaders like yourselves to make this happen. Chair, come up and join me. This is a distinct moment, and I don't think it can be overstated. I know that Chair McDonald mentioned as we recapped the harm and showed the photos of the devastation of the Fillmore and other neighborhoods in the city. So to speak, we have all the receipts. Truthfully, you all did too. The receipts for public information. Some of you lived through and experienced them. You saw your Black neighbors, Black businesses in your districts, friends, people that you've grown up with displaced. You continue to see the harm perpetuate as you work in your current seats to try to close the racial wealth gap and deal with education and deal with violence. We see you every day doing your best. But this is a moment where we're calling on you to do more than your best. This is a moment when we are calling on you to be exactly who we know San Francisco is. Because right now, the media is recording us a very different way. Right now, San Francisco is earning an identity as a city who cares more about politics than people. Right now, San Francisco is earning a reputation of being a place where decisions cannot be made in the interest of human lives. Right now, San Francisco is earning an identity of a place that is unsafe and unwelcoming, specifically to Black people. And you have an opportunity to change that right now. We did not come here begging to show our worth and our value to this city. This city would not have its identity were it not for Black San Franciscans. Things that are revolutionary and historically documented about this city were initiated by Black San Franciscans. Whether it was bringing the College of Ethnic Studies to San Francisco State University, or the Black Panther meetings that took place in the Fillmore, or building the infrastructure of this city that took place in Hunters Point in the south side of this city, and by extension, the opportunities that were created for every neighborhood and every ethnic group that's in this city right now. You have an opportunity to move San Francisco back into a global human rights conversation by doing right by Black San Francisco. As we've sat and met with many of you, we knew that today would be about presentation and an opportunity. And the first time we came back in March, was it? Each of you stood up and gave very personal, very meaningful testimonies of why this issue mattered to you and how much you respect and care for our Black residents in San Francisco. What we are asking you to do is now make an investment in the future of San Francisco by centering and prioritizing Black San Franciscans for reparations. Because there will not be any thriving downtown corridor without Black San Franciscans. There will not be any tourism without Black San Franciscans and Black business. There will not be without our participation in making this city what we've always known it to be. And so as we hear from you today, we hope not only to hear your commitment, but your action. Because you have somewhere about 100 plus recommendations in front of you. And each of them are an opportunity, not only today, but for the next 150 years for you to prioritize making Black San Francisco whole again.
Thank you, Ms. Hollins.
I would only conclude by asking, what do you want history to say? What do you want the annals of history to say about this unique moment in time? And we hope that it means you will, again, do right by Black San Franciscans. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Hollins. Director Davis.
Thank you, Chair McDonald, and thank you, Vice Chair Hollins, and now we're going to bring up Director of Human Rights Commission, Dr. Cheryl Davis.
Good afternoon. I apologize in advance for my voice. We will go through, I will talk a little bit briefly about Dreamkeeper Initiative, a little bit about the process, what got us to
Show your support for Black-owned media with a tax-deductible contribution today. And don't forget to visit Clari-T Media's Tech and Swag store for gear and supplies. Thank you.
do that. And Dreamkeeper Initiative is very much focused on making sure that we are focusing on Black excellence, joy, centering the Black community and investing in that. And the intentionality of reparations is not what that is. So did want to share just the updates with regards to Dreamkeeper Initiative. As many of you know, it was launched in 2020. That investment has been annualized. I want to thank you for that. We have seen an increase in Black businesses. Some of the things that have been recommended or that we're talking about with regards to reparations, the pipelines, the work that's been done with early ed, work that's been done with Urban Ed Academy to have more Black teachers represented there. We have also the increase in home ownership. A few things that I specifically wanted to call out is the Community Research Institute, where over 100 people have been trained to do the research and data collection. Black people with lived experience that are able to tell the story from a lived experience narrative and not with a false narrative of what it means to be Black in San Francisco. And so those are the types of investments that we see with regards to the Dreamkeeper Initiative. And I will just say, ultimately, what we want to see advanced and celebrated from the Dreamkeeper Initiative is that it's community-centered, that it's focused on what the community wants to see happen with everybody. But even more than that, instead of saying that the community needs to be responsible to the bureaucratic norms, it is saying that the bureaucratic norms need to really evaluate how they move forward and understand how they often limit the ability of Black people to do what's best for the Black community. And that's the part that we really want to recognize and celebrate and elevate. So with regards to the process, I just want to acknowledge that the committee, the African American Reparations Advisory Committee, was developed to bring those recommendations to the Board of Supervisors, to recommend to the board what needed to happen, as well as the mayor and the Human Rights Commission. That in addition to that, the Human Rights Commission role was to be both administrative support, but to also support and find funds to support not just a committee, but consultants and folks that would be able to support the advancement of that work. We can go to the next slide. And that we were meant to be the administrative support and to post the report, the initial report, the draft plan, and the final plan. We can go to the next slide. Thank you. So where we are right now, you've just heard from the chair and the vice chair. They have shared the submission of the recommendations, which we hope that you had an opportunity to review and look at. And so that part has happened. If we go to the next slide, I just want to share with you where we are on the next steps with regards to the role of the Human Rights Commission and where we're going. So the Human Rights Commission, and I think after this, the chair of the commission will share the body. The commission reviewed those recommendations. And then in addition to that, we held several community engagement sessions to get additional input to make sure that as we came here before you today, that we could say in addition to the process, the exhaustive 2-year process of the committee, that we also did a check in community to make sure that folks were aware and that they had an opportunity to weigh in on that presentation. I have also had the opportunity to engage with the city attorney's office on the next steps and moving forward, and to make sure the things that we propose are legally sound. I will say that those conversations and that engagement is confidential, but that I am working very closely with the city attorney's office to begin the next process. So with regards to developing and building out an Office of Reparations, the three things that have been highlighted that we reviewed and identified really as the core components of that are to understand the reparations landscape, and that's both locally, statewide, and nationally, to make sure that we understand how we can leverage what's happening across the country, as well as what we're doing here, to add details to the reparations plan. So that is the part to go back and engage with the city attorney to understand what are the things that we need to do to be able to move those things forward, to support implementation of the proposals, and then to support a public education campaign. There's a lot of false narratives about what it is, what reparations are, or even just the negative things that have been said, specifically about the committee members or about Black people who want reparations. So we want to make sure to do a public education campaign to make sure that we have more people supporting and more people speaking fact and not just their opinion about what reparations are. And so what I am highlighting here now are some of the recommendations that we believe that we could move forward, even while we're working to get the Office of Reparations up and moving. One is the Fillmore Heritage Center. That is something that the Human Rights Commission has been working with the Mayor's Office of Housing, Community Development, as well as Supervisor Preston's office and OBWD, to not just get the building occupied by an African-American leaseholder, but to make sure that we give additional dollars so that when they go in there, they have the funding they need to be able to not just open the building, but to be able to open it. And I think the long-term plan is to actually be able to give the building to whoever the owner-operator may be down the line. Fully fund African-American cultural districts, and then to create a fund to purchase communal spaces. So those are things that, working with the city attorney's office, we do believe we can develop a plan for implementation. With regards to education, one thing that we have been working on for the last couple of years, this came out of a recommendation from Diane Gray and other folks around the HBCU satellites. We've been working and have engaged with Spelman, Clark, Howard, and other places about the potential of coming to San Francisco. So that is something that we have been actively working on. Introduce the mandatory core of Black history, fund after-school programs, and reinstate training pathways. Those are things that we believe that even beyond us working with the school district to implement, that the Board of Supervisors could actually introduce a resolution or do some things to help encourage the board to move that work forward. Health, these are things that have come up in this space, create pre-educational pathways for recruitment. To some degree, that is something that opportunities for all is done working with UCSF, but we can definitely be more intentional about recruiting specifically Black community members for that. Issue an official apology, which I think you've heard from the committee, as well as has been offered up, and that we want to really think about how we do a better job of partnering and working within our community spaces, both with the churches, schools, after-school programs, and nonprofits. The policy piece around Prop 209 and understanding what it looks like to maybe help support, and again, the public education campaign could potentially help with that. Audit the war on drugs and establish and enforce a city policy to prioritize the creation of low-income and low-income housing base. And so when we get to the final list of recommendations that we think we can actually advance, one of them is to think about how we center and prioritize certificate of preference holders, whether that is with cash payments or other ways that we could potentially do disbursements. And that is something that is list-based. That is something that we could go to that is within the OCII portfolio, but that we could actually put money towards that and maybe even leverage the money that has already been allocated to support reparations. So these are the things that Human Rights Commission believes that we can actually begin to advance and would welcome support with moving forward. The formal apology, the establishing of an Office of Reparations, support for statewide reparations efforts, landmark preservation, really thinking about what that might look like, supporting and investing in Black cultural, historical cultural centers, gun violence intervention model. That is something that some of you may remember Dreamkeeper Initiative tried to launch and got tremendous backlash from reporting from Fox News. It was called Cash for Criminals, where we were doing that investment, and would love to have additional support to continue that work. Audit the war on drugs policies, declare community violence as a public health crisis, culturally responsive substance abuse services, to continue doing the work around the HBCU satellites, to do and think about support for our seniors. I think one of the things that we feel very strongly around, and I will say at least for myself within the Human Rights Commission, is that many of our seniors and elders, especially those who have experienced and lived lifelong trauma here in San Francisco, how can we prioritize them for some of these initial disbursements to make sure that folks who are over the age of 75 or 80 are able to get some of that money more initially. And as I said before, funding for certificate of preference holders, and then to think about how we address Prop 209 and continue to support and identify the issues and challenges that exist there. So I wanted to, not nearly as eloquent or passionate as the chair and the vice chair, but wanted to be able to leave you all with very concrete things that we think we can leverage funds for, and that we would like to see additional funds for. But those are the things the Human Rights Commission believes that we can essentially advance in the coming months.
Thank you, Director Davis. And now we will open this up to public comment. And as Supervisor Walton said, we will have 1 minute per speaker. And in order to facilitate everybody, if you can use your spirit hands and let the individuals speak so we can hear from them, that would be very much appreciated. Reverend Brown, you are the first speaker, and if you'll line up to my left, your right, we'll hear from everybody in this chamber. Supervisor Walton.
Thank you so much, Chair Peskin. And before we begin public comment, I just want to say, as a courtesy to a former supervisor and someone who has been on the forefront of reparations, not only locally, but at the state level, we will call on Reverend Dr. Amos Brown to speak first prior to public comment. Thank you, Chair Peskin.
Thank you, Supervisor Walton. Reverend Brown.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, ladies and gentlemen. I had the privilege and honor of being the senior most member of the task force at the local and state levels. And I've used that analogy before, and I repeat it again, that in Mississippi, where I came from, if you really wanted to have a successful plowing of the field, you never team up two young mules to plow by themselves. And neither do you team up two old mules to plow alone. But if you really want to have a straight row and a successful crop, you always team up an old mule and a young mule. I submit to you that we have worked together as a dream team with old mules and young mules. I leave you today with this wisdom. John Steinbeck said in Grapes of Wrath, I wonder how many people in my lifetime have I just looked at, but I did not see. How many people in my lifetime did I just looked at, but I did not see? We're at this moment of appealing for reparations because too long has it been the case in this world, this nation, and this city that Black folks have been just been looked at, but our humanity was never seen. And I want to thank first, after we introduced as NACPers to this board on July the 30th of 2019, Brother John Morton became the engineer. And the board sitting then voted unanimously to support his legislation. And then over there, Sister Hillary Ronan, first one who heard Danny Glover and I sit in our office and make a passionate appeal for us to do something. I just want to say to you finally, the house is on fire. The patient is in intensive care at the point of death. Just take the wisdom of Nike. Just do it. Just do it. We don't need to make it a paralysis of an analysis. Now it's time for us to act. Don't call for another minute to debate and have conversation. We need to change our conduct. And I believe that you're going to do the right thing. And you're going to show the world that you are progressive, liberal, San Francisco. And you are that dream team legislative body that will set that bar high. And if you don't have all the money, as Jen, I came from Mississippi before I got here. And they used to have what you call a layaway plan. You can take care of this on an installment plan.
Amen. Amen.
God bless you. I love you. Let us just make this Black community happy and put a smile on their face today. Amen.
Thank you, Reverend. Now we will begin public comments. Please proceed.
I'm Karen Clopton, Chair of the Human Rights Commission. I'm here to share with all of you that the Human Rights Commission fully endorses the report of the African American Reparations Committee. We laud the hard work that's been put into this amazing 2-year effort that is not over yet. And I want to say on a personal note that my first job in San Francisco was with the Mayor's Summer Youth Program in 1977 under Mayor Moscone, when the Black population was almost 14% at that time. And today we are in that under 6%. But we are the margin of voters. Remember us, remember that. As Martin Luther King told us, the time is always right.
Thank you, Commissioner Clopton. Thank you for your comments. Hi, my name is Lynette Mackey. I'm a resident of San Francisco.
been a resident of San Francisco, but I want to share that I lived in the Fillmore community in a Victorian home. My grandfather had one. Next door, there were 2 flats. During that time, when the redevelopment were taking homes, relocating people, they came and they talked to my grandfather, and he said, "What is it that I need to do to stay here? Because I have a home here." Tell a long story short, on one side, it was 2 families, 13 kids. The other side was 3 families. So they said it wasn't up to code. My grandfather said, "I will bring it up to code." They said, "No, the city says we have to tear it down. It's going to be demolished." So guess what? He said no all the way until he died. So do you know the day after he died, they were city and county, "You guys have to go. We're going to demolish this property."
Thank you for your comments.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Thank you.
Thank you.
To the Honorable Board of Supervisors, I am Aurelius Walker. And today, you cannot have a world-class city except you have a world-class leadership and a world-class people. We cannot leave here today after receiving all this wonderful, powerful, documented information. And this board can become a world-class board if they accept the facts and evidence that are presented to them. And I believe, Mr. Peskin, you and this board have the ability not to leave here to make sure you are the first Board of Supervisors in California to approve a reparation report from a world-class committee. And I want to thank you in advance that you're going to do it. Thank you very much.
My name is Hillary Brown. One thing I want to say is my brother was she and her. I feel I have to say that. Got to correct some sheriffs before I shut it here. What I want to say is I graduated from San Francisco State like 20 years ago. I graduated City College like 3 years prior to that. And I want to say that my grandmother brought my mother here 70 years ago to have a life in San Francisco, but she passed away 3 years ago at the age of 88. I want to support reparations because in my post-act convention, when I was appointed, so I had 2 black people there. And I believe there should be more. And I went down to representatives who a lot of us live in the city, and there be more representation in my commission that was appointed by this board. I just want to say that I wish my mom was around to live the way, but she died a few days ago. But I'm still alive. My mom's still alive. We've been living in San Francisco for like 7 years, and me since 48 years old. That's all I want to say.
Thank you for your comments.
Good afternoon, Board of Supervisors. My name is Cheryl Thornton. And the first thing I want to say is that I hope this board in particular votes to put the Office of Reparations in exit before the next election. We need change and we need it now. We can't wait. Number 2, I want to say opportunity for all, some mentor programs, high quality education. It does work. My son was born and raised here in San Francisco and is now in his last year at UC Berkeley Law School, and he achieved high honors in advanced legal writing. And third, I want to say that Black workers have suffered for too long. So please add Black workers to the harm in San Francisco. I have worked for the city and county for 33 years tirelessly advocating for people to have access to healthcare, a basic human right. And I've been overlooked for promotions. I've been bullied. I've been harassed. And I have had.
Thank you, Cheryl Thornton. Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations, your son.
Good evening. My name is Ms. Brown. They call me Ms. Paulette, but I was just listening to Supervisor Stephanie talk about gun violence. And I'm a mother who lost her child here in San Francisco. And I've been coming to this commission, the police commission, for 17 years now. This is my son, Aubrey Abercassa, who was murdered, shot 30 times with a semi-automatic gun, saving someone else's life. To this day, his case isn't solved. And I shouldn't be having to do this, let alone other mothers and fathers who've lost their children to homicide. No one has to stand over their child's grave. Also, the school system has done my son wrongly. This is what the system have left me with, a corpse of a body of my only son. Then I say justice delayed is justice denied. We want, I have a $250,000 reward and no one's come for. Use that money and give us our money so we can investigate our own children's murder.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Burnham.
Lord. Good afternoon. Thank you for having me. My name is Tashina Walker. I am the daughter of Dr. Aurelius Walker, and I too have been born and raised in the Bayview area. I went to school at Bret Harte. I graduated from Philip and Saliburton Academic High School. I was the first graduating class from that high school. I went on to earn a bachelor's in business administration and a master's in healthcare administration. I now would like to come back to this. I've lived in 3 different cities, but there is no city like San Francisco. That is why I am back here, to live in the city that I was born and raised in. This is a great diversified city, and we can do it. However, we can't do it with the current things that are going on. Living in San Francisco is 28% more expensive on average. Cost of living in the state of California, which is 79% higher than the national average. Utility bills are 32% higher. Food is 31% higher. Transportation is 38% higher than the rest of the country. What are you going to do? We need you to get off the nail that the dog has been sitting on because he's in pain and didn't want to leave. We need you to get off the nail and he.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Before the next speaker, we'll just ask that the president and the former president of the board have asked you to hold your applause. So we want to hear from every one of you. So we'll hear from our next speaker. Welcome.
Thank you. Hi, I am Leva Shepherd. I have resided in San Francisco for 32 years. San Francisco has rampant systematic inequalities and racism. I am living proof of this impact. Black people, the baby back there agreeing with everything I had to say. Keep on speaking, baby. Black people are being denied access to therapists, medical assistance, economic press, and more. For example, I have been denied a therapist, medical access, and supervisor. Get this, I am living on 0 income. I support reparations with all of my soul. I truly believe that we are on the planet for 2 reasons: to teach and to learn. What does reparations have to teach us, and what do we have to learn? Life has chosen you to be in the history-making trailblazers position.
Thank you. Thank you for your comments. Thank you.
As a Black man, this is what I've witnessed myself from being on this planet for 7 decades. We've been misused, misled, hung, shot, beat down, incarcerated, and stumped into the mud. That can't be fixed with a Band-Aid or ice cold strawberry soda. We're in dire need, and reparations is way past due right now. So do the right thing. My name is Brother Philip.
Thank you for your comments.
My name is Barbara Wilson. I live in Fillmore. Been to Galileo High School, been here for over 50 years. I want to talk to you about lynching and how Black people built this country. Let's remember about our people that came here we did not ask to come to America, but we built this country. Our uncles and brothers and grandparents were lynched. Please, please listen to what the people are saying to you today, okay? God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments.
Good evening, everyone. Mr. President, it's good to see you. Hi, my name is Elaine Samuels. I'm 71-year-old, genuine, authentic Black woman, born and raised in America, descendant of slaves in America, a resident and a taxpayer of the city and county of San Francisco for over 50 years. I'm a single parent, I'm a grandmother, I'm a healthcare professional who is deserving and owed the best quality of life. I'm deserving to have better quality of life without debt, being healthy, living in a safe and secure environment, access to medical care, stores nearby where I can buy healthy and nutritious food, maintaining an emotional and physical well-being, living independently. Life and liberty and the pursuit of happiness is needed for me to maintain who I am. I am worthy of Black reparations. Wealth and
Thank you for your comments.
education.
Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Next speaker, please.
Hi, my name is Susan Kelly. I'm from the Bayview Hunters Point, and I'd like to talk about the disparity in education and the school system in this city. The city has too much money to have this much disparity in education. There should be something to be done. Why is there not more money going into the Bayview area for education? Then we wouldn't have so much crime that's going on, and we would have more citizens in this city more educated. So I think it's a crime that we do have this disparity. Something should be done about it, and it should be done about it now. Thank you for your time, and thank all the supervisors for going along with the respiration.
Thank you for your comments. All right, let's hear from our next speaker, please.
Hello, everyone. I just want to say, even with $5 million, I still can't live in Presidio Heights. You know, I have a problem with that. And I sit on several seats and committees throughout San Francisco, proud member of the AARAC, also proud member of the Small Business Commission. I have yet to see a Black business come through those doors as a legacy business. As I struggle with my own businesses in San Francisco, that's a problem for me too. We just recently closed at the La Cocina Marketplace. That's all I gotta say. Make a decision. Today is an action item. I hope you guys take action.
Thank you, Commissioner Carter. Let's hear from our next speaker. Welcome.
Hi, my name is Adrian Kano, and I'm a native San Franciscan of 58 years. I'm very familiar with these rooms as I have reunified with my 8 children after 25 years in DHS, formerly known as CPS. I have been in recovery also for 27 years throughout the drug on wars. I know that I'm entitled to land and a home, and I believe to ensure my prosperity, Black banks are a necessity for our success. I feel that the time for reparations is right now. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Mel McNeely. I am a proud generation San Franciscan who is deeply concerned about the continued ethno-genocide of Black San Franciscans in this city. I wanted to remind everyone that reparations comes in 5 forms, which include compensation, right? It must include compensation, restitution for stolen land, stolen labor, stolen property. During segregation, when our people couldn't access public schools, public libraries, and pools, while our tax dollars paid for those facilities we couldn't access, that's theft, and we want that money back. That's repetition. Rehabilitation is free medical care, free legal health and trauma services. Satisfaction is a formal apology and guarantees of non-repetition. We want policies so that to make sure that we are no longer the victims of this country and its policies. Please, please, we are begging you. And we shouldn't have to, but we are. These are our lives that are quite literally at your disposal, or you could do right by us. We've always done right by this country. And so we're really wanting reparations.
Thank you for your comments.
Okay, I'm Yolanda Lewis, and I'm here. I was born in San Francisco, gentrified, and I'm here back today to say that reparations begins with restoring our true identity. It is impossible that any one of us could be descendants from the original slaves that were brought here on slave ships based on the mortality rate of 21 years and the fact that the 1790 census showed that there were over 740,000 when only 388,000 were brought to the United States. The death rates were mortality rates over 90% means that there were only just under 40,000 that could have possibly been brought here, and that everyone in this room is indigenous, and that it is time for you to start telling the truth. And 1 minute is so inequitable for a matter that this is important. But please note that we are not Black from Africa. You are all from Africa, and we are indigenous to this land, and we were here before you came.
Thank you.
I should be able to get in last 15 seconds. But I want to say that I'm proud of my San Franciscans today. I saw Black San Franciscans, Asian San Franciscans, Latino San Franciscans, white San Franciscans here on one accord, you know. So we need y'all to make the decision to be on the people's side. And your schools, and in American schools across the country, you don't teach about Black people who built the cities. Black people who built the country, who changed the American way of life. You only teach about people who protest. And so that's where this free handout comes from. No free handouts. How you gonna say free handouts to people who helped build the country? Alexander Linsdorf helped, he go to first school in San Francisco, yet he's not taught about. Right, but then fast forward, right? I got so many conversations. The police not wanting to stop the violence because they're gonna lose jobs, right? Baco Brown. I can get my head shot off tomorrow and I'm guilty. Nobody gonna do nothing for me, right? So yeah, we deserve reparations. Leave it there.
Thank you for your comments.
Yes, my name is Larry Martin. I'm a college student at San Francisco State. And I think it's very important that y'all make the proper decision. It's very important that each one of y'all supervisors that's going to make this decision to support reparations. Because we all know that the damage that was caused, that was inflicted by y'all, that was done to us by y'all ancestors. See what I'm saying? So y'all have an opportunity to right the wrongs. You know what I'm saying? Because if y'all don't, then it's gonna be another part of history that y'all might not like. You see what I'm saying? So I would encourage y'all to make the right decision on reparations, and I mean that.
Thank you for your comments. All right, let's hear from our next speaker, please.
Greetings all, my name is Richard Hargraves. I'm a proud son of my mom and my dad, 12 brothers and sisters. I have 11 siblings, and I want to say that I'm a survivor. I didn't plan on living a long time, but I ended up graduating from college. I seen things that as an adult, I realized was not normal. But we called what we saw normal and home. And I'm speaking for everybody, well, not everybody, but most people in this room and most people that's tuned in, that's watching. And make a decision today, because when does it stop? Because it's still going, you know, it's still going. So when does it stop? Let's make a decision today. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments.
My name is Len Burnett. I'm a former high school history teacher, and I run 2 racial justice history projects, crossculturalsolidarity.com and the White Anti-Racist Ancestry Project. Making reparations happen for Black San Franciscans is the right thing to do, but it's also important for people across the entire country to see an example of reparations. When you vote for reparations for Black San Franciscans, You'll be taking leadership here in San Francisco, and you will be setting an example for what is possible for people across the country. Whatever legislative body is the first to pass substantial reparations will go down in history. So let's make some history today. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments.
My name is Phyllis Bowie, the proud daughter of Jeannie Bowie. Jeannie Bowie was born in San Francisco, first generation from Monroe, Louisiana, in 1940. I was born in 1960. In 1964, my mother had me outside protesting for civil rights, believing in this city. Fast forward, I'm a proud resident of Midtown Park Apartments. So I've come to you here in this room several times asking for ownership for what is ours and what was taken away. I want to say that 4-year-old girl, I'm demanding now that you live up to my expectations of being fair and right. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments.
I'm Dr. April Silas, CEO of Homeless Children's Network. Having provided nearly 40 years of mental health services to my people in this city, I come to you well informed when I say racism against Black San Francisco is atrocious. I therefore wholeheartedly, all 4 chambers of my heart, completely and unequivocally support reparations. Now, what to do? I need each of you to realize that you have the power and the jurisdiction within this body to approve every page of the recommendations. Next, I need you to plaster upon the mirror of your minds Black children, Black-led organizations, and Black LGBTQ. Why? As those of us are often the first to go forgotten. Blessings. Reparations.
Thank you for your comments.
Good afternoon, board. My name is Tracy Griffin. I've been back in San Francisco for 33 years. I feel that the board of supervisors should work diligently and hard to finalize the reparation plan. It is the right thing to do to make amends, and I thank you in advance. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments.
Hello, Board of Supervisors. My name is Widia Bettine, and I am born and raised in the Fillmore. I would like you guys to look, oh God, I have my little thing. Reparations need to be given to the Black people of America, and it doesn't look like a check. It looks like an investment in the success of Black youth and young adults, starting with Black San Francisco. Reparations is a forward step to the economic advancement of Black Americans, being that when we were freed, we were not given civility. When we were sharecroppers, we were not given supplies. And when we're educated, we're not given a check equal to our value. Ever since we've been free, we've been given prejudice, we've been given terrorism, and we've been given doubt. We deserve to be seen as people. And you guys, we voted y'all in so that y'all could move swiftly in ensuring that you do what we civil people, we go to work every day and y'all do this every day. All right, thank you.
Thank you. You and next speaker, please.
Hi, my name is Leon T. Collins, and I'm in support of reparations. And while I say that, I can tell a story. The city and county abused my mother. They abused me in the San Francisco School District. You can go and look in your records, because I believe in 71 and 72, that's when the board of supervisors was no longer in charge of the San Francisco Board of Supervisors. I kept down. I'm just here to say that we are well deserved. I was abused in the San Francisco School District, right down here at John Sweat, all because my mother empowered me to get educated. And when I told the teacher that we wasn't supposed to be there taking naps, she took my head and hid it in the desk, and that happened for 2 to 3 weeks before I was able to tell my aunt. So I'm saying, I'm not the only one, and I'm not the only family whose family's been abused in San Francisco while growing up. I've been here 60 years, my whole life in Fillmore. And it's time for someone to stand up. It's time for y'all to stand up. Or we're gonna have to get busy. We're gonna have to start going out there and going to these meetings, these school board meetings, and we need to be doing that anyway. We need
to do that anyway. So let's get
Thank
on
you for your
it.
comments.
And I need you to put 415-28.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in to Clari-T Media. This is Alicia Mayo, the CEO and founder of the Black woman-owned Clari-T Media, supported by the Dreamkeeper Initiative of San Francisco. I am proud to be a Black San Franciscan, and I'm also very proud to bring to you this presentation of the African American Reparation Advisory Committee's final presentation of the recommendations. Okay, so they are presenting their final recommendations for reparations for Black San Francisco, and they have done a fabulous job doing that. Now we're listening to public comment that is equally important as the committee's presentation. I do want to take a moment to dial in so that I can make my public comment. As I sit here listening, I'm so inspired, and I just have to make sure that I get a chance to say what it is I want to say during this historically important hearing with the San Francisco Board of Supervisors, the African American Reparations Advisory Committee, and the San Francisco Human Rights Commission, as we make history nationally and internationally on the subject of reparations for Black people. Thank you again for tuning in to Clari-T Media. This is Alicia Mayo of Clari-T Media, and I just want to say thank you again. Please share this live broadcast with your friends and family so that they can see history in the making. Now back to regularly scheduled programming. Sorry.
Like the model of the Golden State Warriors, the strength in numbers. I personally think it's a political deception to gain support of the Black voter. Cities and states across America continues to discriminate on every level known to man to Black America. You hear about California and the city of San Francisco operate at a deficit per the media. So where's these reparation funds coming from? At what level? Again, thank you, San Francisco, for your efforts for cracking that reparations door open. But now our focus needs to be to the federal government. No reparations, no Black vote.
Thank you for your comments. Welcome.
Hi, my name is Tom Jansley. I'm born and raised in San Francisco. Both are my parents, born and raised in San Francisco. Great-grandmother came to San Francisco to help build the Bay Bridge. Great-great-grandfather came to San Francisco in 1910 to help build it back after the 1908 fires. He was a brick mason, and we commend him because when the mission was on fire during the Loma Prieta earthquake, those buildings that did not burn, those were Texas Masons that came up from Texas and built those brick structures that withstood the Loma Prieta earthquake. My other great-great-grandfather was a coal miner in San Francisco. He was here when this was Loma Prieta, before it was in the Union of the United States, that it came in 1850. He was caught up in the fugitive slave laws. He disappeared, never to be seen again. And my great-great-grandmother, who had 22 kids in San Francisco, lost her husband, lost her property, okay? And lost the rights to a lot of.
Thank you. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for your comments. Welcome to the next speaker.
Hello, my name is Aisha Brooks, and I'm an associate American family therapist. I'm employed at the Homeless Children's Network, one of San Francisco's Black-led and Black-serving organizations. And I am standing before you with my strong support for reparations. I know that there are deeply rooted inequities faced by Black San Franciscans, and my work has shown me how racial trauma and disparities can adversely impact the families and affect child development. I feel that San Francisco can disrupt the disparities of mental health services for Black families and children by acknowledging systemically marginalized Black residents and lasting impact on the mental, physical, and environmental well-being of generations. Reparations are not just a financial matter, they are an acknowledgement of the harm done and the commitment to righting these wrongs. Our proposed objectives will manifest as investments in mental health care infrastructure, educational programs, affordable housing initiatives, and community-led projects. And I stand in solidarity with my colleagues for my culture and in community to emphasize this need for this form of reparative justice. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments.
Hello, my name is Dejanay Bolton. I work as a community counselor in Fillmore with Homeless Children's Network. I'm a native-born San Franciscan, growing up in the Bayview Hunters Point area, and I've seen firsthand the racial disparities that have damaged our community on a day-to-day basis. I stand in solidarity with my community and the need for reparations. I believe reparations will allow the Black community a chance to change the infrastructure on our own terms, a chance to heal in the ways that we deserve and in our own ways by our own people.
Show your support for Black-owned. Show your support for Black-owned media with a tax-deductible contribution today. And don't forget to visit Clari-T Media's Tech and Swag store for gear and supplies. Thank you.
And I do have an idea of what this reparations can do for the community and for my fellow employees. So I strongly support reparations. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Welcome. Next speaker.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Ciara. I'm a therapist with the Homeless Children's Network, one of San Francisco's Black-led, Black-serving organizations. And I want to share that the trauma of racism has affected each family, Black family that I work with, generation by generation, and shows up in so many different ways, from equal opportunities to anxiety, development of identity, and safety in schools, physical and mental health disparities, and overrepresentation in the justice system. Reparations can really begin to heal a lot of this racial trauma going on in our community and provide resources for mental health services and other basic human needs for the Black community in San Francisco. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments.
Good evening. My name is Malik Seneferu. I'm the son of Zelma Loggins and Herman Smith Sr. My family got here by way of Texas in the 1950s. My grandmother was allotted property in Santa Monica and Santa Barbara for my great-grandfather who owned property there. That property was taken from her by eminent domain. She came and bought property on what is now known as Pine Street, and that was taken by eminent domain. She ended up moving to Hunters Point, and in 1971, I was born. I'm here on behalf of a receipt that was left to me by my ancestors. However, the payment has not been made. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments.
I am a white woman named Karen, and I strongly support reparations. My message today is very simple. White San Franciscans, we owe Black San Franciscans reparations. Our ancestors created systemic racism that we benefit from today. Systemic racism is not Black people's problem to solve, it's on us as white people. When we drive our kids through the Tenderloin and they ask us, why is it like this here? We must not lie to them and say it's because we don't have enough cops and prisons. Instead, we must tell them the truth. It's like this here because of us, because of our hoarding all the opportunities and exclusively sharing them with other white people. We will never solve San Francisco's problems with more. Can only solve San Francisco's problems by repairing the harm we have caused, atoning, and transforming.
Thank you for your comments. So, so, so everyone, because you cheered during her comments, we had to give her a little extra time. But if we do that every time, then you're all going to be here very late. So like the president and the former president said, please hold your applause. Let's hear from our next speaker, please.
Hello, my name is Candace Kavanaugh. I am the training program manager at Homeless Children's Network, a Black-led and Black-serving community mental health agency. As the clinical training program manager, I can speak to not only the need to support our Black and African American communities, but also the clinicians and professionals and the agency organizers who have been providing this support to their communities long before any government-respected recommendations came along. And then lastly, my last point is just a reminder, if there's any failure or delay to support in these reparation supports, it is not only a delay of the supports, but a co-signing of the trauma and damage that has been historically caused by this government and will continue to happen because of this government. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Okay, next speaker, please.
Good afternoon. My name is Jessica Trubowich, and I am here on behalf of the Jewish Community Relations Council Bay Area. JCRC is the largest collective voice of the Jewish community across the 8 counties. Currently, Jews around the world are in the week between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, 2 of the holiest days in the Jewish year. Rosh Hashanah, the new year, is the day we look ahead to how each of us can be our best selves in the coming year. Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement, is when we look back and atone and apologize for past wrongdoings. This is a time when we recognize that we cannot move forward without first addressing the pain we have caused ourselves and others in the past. Upon receiving the San Francisco African American Reparations Advisory Committee final report today, San Francisco is also sitting in that space between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. We as a city are in that time when we must address San Francisco's past wrongdoings in order to move forward to become a more perfect city.
Thank you for your comments.
Good afternoon, I'm Ty Gregory and I'm the CEO of the Jewish Community Relations Council. A Jew far wiser than I once said, it's not up to you to finish the work, but neither are you free to desist from it. And given the systemic injustices in our city, our state, and our country, Black reparations is that work. My own grandmother had an experience with reparations when her family escaped from Nazi Germany and many were left behind and systematically murdered. She received monetary compensation from Germany. That didn't undo the harm. That didn't fix what happened. But it was the beginning of her family and my family's ability to heal. And while we should never compare 2 atrocities, so too when we look at this issue, this is what we need for healing. So for my family and for all of yours, the Jewish community is here to stand with you and to support this issue. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Welcome.
My name is Mary Harris, and my husband and I have lived in the Lakeview OMI for the last 50 years. When we were looking for a home, we were only allowed to look on one side of Ocean Avenue, not the other side, because of their doctrine and covenants didn't allow Black people on that side of Ocean. So I would like to ask that the Board of Suits pass unanimously all the recommendations of the reparations plan. Please support and fund the Office of Reparations to implement the recommendations, to work with city departments and hold city agencies accountable. Most importantly, we need to involve the Board of Education so that our children are going to Princeton, not prisons.
Amen. 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 Good evening, everyone. This is Alicia Mayo, the CEO and founder of Clari-T Media. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching this Board of Supervisors hearing as the African American Reparations Advisory Committee makes its final presentation and its final recommendations for reparations for Black San Franciscans. It is my honor to present this presentation to all of you tonight on my social media platforms. It is my intention to present world-class information, properly prepared productions, and well thought out productions that educate and inform and uplift non-traditional voices and perspectives. So it is, again, with great honor that I am able to share this information on my platforms. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's been an hour and just over an hour and 30 minutes now that I've presented this information, and we will continue this coverage of the San Francisco Board of Supervisors hearing along with AARAC and the San Francisco Human Rights Commission. I want to just take a quick little break here and come back with more content for you, okay? So please just stand by. Thank you.
Today's live stream is being brought to you by Clari-T Media. Support the San Francisco Dreamkeeper Initiative, recognizing and investing in the diverse Black and African American communities of San Francisco with a wide range of programs to support youth, families, seniors, and members of the Black LGBTQ+ communities. Dreamkeeper San Francisco is fostering hope for generations of Black people to feel free to dream boldly. Visit dreamkeepersf.org today. Tune in weekdays to the Bay Area Mental Health Hour on YouTube, Instagram, and on Facebook. You'll find us covering issues
women and men, people of color who identify as trans, non-binary, struggling with suicide, ideation, anxiety, and depression. During my standard 9-to-5 working hours, I dedicated the past 4 years to a Black-led, Black-serving organization called Homeless Children's Network. As the director of Afrocentric Mental Health Services, I have supported Black clinicians and case managers who have worked relentless hours mitigating financial, housing, food insecurity, and barriers that the Black face daily due to long-lasting historical trauma. I know that on Objective 2 of the mental health recommendation that there is a request to address and reduce the disparities by investing in long-term structural solutions to the societal detriment of mental health of the Black San Franciscans. What I want to see today is y'all make history in supporting the mental health recommendations for the LGBT community and our Black children and family of San Francisco. Thank you for your time. Thank you.
Thank you, Shauna Aisha Hoover, for your comments. Welcome.
I'm Joseph Williams. I'm a 30-year resident of San Francisco city employee, and I experienced this injustice, all this that was the damage that was done to my people, and the crime that caused it. This was basically that deflected on those people that caused this outburst of crime that we have right now. That injustice was mainly the cause. And I want to suggest that this reparation would, I believe, the cash reparation would cut 50% of crime. It will cut down the crime rate, at least 50%. And so pay the reparations. I could say this all in one word. I can just sum up everything in one word: pay up.
Thank you, Joseph Williams, for your comments.
Hello, Board of Supervisors. My name is Fiona Flynn. I am a member of Glide Memorial Church, Racial Justice Group, and also Glide Memorial Church, White Anti-Racist Group. I've been in the Bay Area for almost 30 years and lived in the Mission District of San Francisco for 25 years. The homelessness, the drug abuse, the mental health issues that we see on our streets, that is such an appalling and alarming crisis, can be directly traced back to the principles of white supremacy and racist capitalism. So I fully support reparations, and I feel like this is the opportunity for this city to once again become a place that the world looks up to, rather than a place that I'm becoming ashamed to live in. I stayed here because of the diversity and the hope that I saw, and it's a shame. And it's time to put things right. Thank you.
Thank you, Fiona Flynn, for your comments.
Thank you very much. My name is Nancy Kitoithal. I am from Kenya. I've been living in San Francisco for 10 years from Silicon Valley. I was working as I'm here to support Reparations and give a thank you to the Dream Keepers Initiative, who came through for me working as a property manager at Martin Luther King and Marcus Garvey, where I lost my job because I refused to evict Black people. I have been a big community advocate in the African community because we feel like we are very underrepresented. If it was not for Third Baptist and James Pengola working with Collective Impact, my children and I would have been in the streets. So we thank you for Black amazing communities and nonprofits doing amazing things to make sure our dreams of living in San Francisco is kept alive. Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy, for your comments.
James Taylor, professor of politics at the University of San Francisco, and member of the San Francisco African-American Reparations Committee. Deion Sanders has done something that San Francisco should copy exactly. This Black man took a Black institution, a lowly Black institution, not low, but lowly in terms of poor, had no resources, had deep culture just like San Francisco, and he transported it as far west as he could get it, and he transformed all of America. There's nothing is more important right now than the University of Colorado sports in terms of the sports world. And I believe that just like they did, they had no money. They said, we don't have the money to pay Deion, but we're gonna make sure we have the money when it's time to have it. I say follow the University of Colorado's example, change this world by doing something that nobody else would do. Nobody wanted Deion. And now look, nobody wants reparations for Black people. Do it in San Francisco and you will change the whole damn world. You'll change the world. When you say no to affirmative action twice, you say no to Prop 13 twice. And now you want to say no, not you, but people want to say no.
Thank you, Mr.
If you say no, you just say no to one thing. You say no to 100 and to 14 countries and people all over.
Thank you, Professor Taylor. Thank you for your comments.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Erin Kimura. I'm a 5th generation Chinese and Japanese American and a 5th generation San Franciscan. I'm here today to fully support Black reparations because this is the bare ass minimum. Period. The bare ass minimum. History is enough of a reason. The dehumanization that we've seen is enough of a reason why we need redress and reparations now. This is not an impossible reality, right? We've seen this with the Japanese Americans in the late 1980s. They received on the federal level reparations. And the fact that Black folks and our Black community and our brothers and sisters are still waiting for a formal apology. I'm just gonna leave that there just to simmer. And I just really want to note, especially as an Asian American woman, I would not be here if it were not for the Black liberation struggle, the Black freedom fighters, culture creators, and the world builders that have fought for my liberation.
Come on.
So,
come on, young Japanese and Chinese sisters. Yes. Did she say that? She would not be here if it were not for the Black liberation and civil rights leaders. Oh, God bless her Chinese and Japanese spirit and all of her ancestors who believed what she believes. This is Alicia Mayo, CEO and founder of Clari-T Media, thanking everyone for tuning in. This presentation of the African American Reparations Advisory Committee continues right here on Clari-T Media. Thank you for watching.
As people thinking that spending money, this is about a whole system. What's really important to me, as somebody who could not make it in the city and left because there was no money for me to be able to sustain myself, is that we get a chance to make this right. There's nothing that I can personally do with my hands to do this. We have to do this. And you have the power in your hands to do it, and I'm imploring you to do so. Thank you.
Thank you, Samantha Sherman, for your comments. Welcome to our next speaker.
Hi, my name is Brent Turner. I'm here as a member of the San Francisco Black and Jewish Community Coalition. So I wanted to tell you, others have received reparations in this country. And if you ask people who survived the Holocaust, Japanese camps during World War II, and the Native Americans, if their compensation was enough, I'm pretty sure they'd tell you no. People wonder why Blacks are in the condition that they're in the condition that we are in this country. It's because we faced 400 years of slavery, 100 years of Jim Crow, mass incarceration, and redlining in areas with environmental issues. Others have been successful in this country because they were able to change their names. They can blend in with their skin colors, but we can't change our skin color. Our skin color has been made a social stigma. Reparations isn't a handout, but it's a hand up. It's the right or wrong. So instead of focus on politics, let's focus on your legacies. The rest of the country is watching you all. Now's the right time to do the right thing.
Thank you, Brent Turner. Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Hi, my name is Elliot Hellman. I'm also part of the Black Jewish Unity Coalition. Growing up here in San Francisco, I remember when having a Black neighbor or walking into a Black-owned business wasn't the anomaly that it is today. The fact that African Americans have been wronged by this city is indisputable when you look at the numbers. 3 to 5% of our city's Black population remaining. It's shameful and it's heartbreaking. It may be strong language to use, but it looks to me like ethnic cleansing by policy and by design. Like many of us, I know that our city hasn't done right by our African American neighbors, but it wasn't until I read the recommendations of the task force that I could see how to repair the harms. They provide us with a roadmap to repairing this broken city and our broken hearts. So it's now up to you, the Board of Supervisors, to begin the process. I promise you, if you legislate, we'll have your backs. And a word to my supervisor, Mr. Dorsey, read the reparations report. There are over 100 recommendations.
Address your comments to the
policing.
board as a whole, please. Thank you for your comments.
All right, you guys. Yes, yes, yes. Repair the broken hearts. Repair the broken hearts of San Franciscans. Repair the broken hearts. I love what Mr. Hillman said because, in fact, that is what has to be done. This is Alicia Mayo, CEO and founder of Clari-T Media, and I want to just say on a personal note, as I sit here and listen to all of the trauma and all of the voices that sounds like they are pleading, almost begging for repair, I just want to remember how I felt as a young girl discovering San Francisco for the first time and realizing where I live, and realizing my present state and my future. And the future looked so bright to me. I had so many opportunities. I had so much to look forward to. I was excited about growing up in San Francisco, spending my Sundays in Golden Gate Park roller skating, spending my days after school with my best friend Dana Schneider, who lived in the Haight-Ashbury, hanging out at his house, and then going to the Steinhardt Aquarium to help him clean out the alligator pit. And then us going over to the Castro to eat pizza at Blondie's Pizza. And then working as an undercover security in my first job at Tower Records. Who knew I could be undercover security? Having my first Chinese boyfriend, and then realizing that a Lebanese boy had a crush on me. And on and on and on. I mean, the beautiful memories that I've had in San Francisco are endless. I've had a wonderful life because I grew up in San Francisco and because my grandparents worked so hard to make this a reality, to make my dreams come true. And so I will say that while I was seeing all of the beauty and enjoying growing up in San Francisco, I never knew just how racist the systems and policies were because I was living in my little fairy tale world, my little dream world as a young girl in San Francisco. I never knew what was coming. I had no idea just how difficult my life would become. I had no idea. And I would have never imagined that it would have turned out to be the way it was when my father overdosed of a drug addiction on the streets of San Francisco, when my brother was murdered on the streets of San Francisco, when I was sexually assaulted at San Francisco General Hospital as a 21-year-old woman, when my mom was addicted to crack cocaine and struggled and lost her business and struggled to keep a roof over our heads in San Francisco. I had no idea what was to come. I had no idea that my Uncle Fat would die of depression and alcoholism. I had no idea that our family would be in the place we're at today, where it's nothing but women left in my family, and we are all sick, struggling in some way, shape, or form. All of the men are gone. It is just us. And I, at 58 years old, I'm the last voice. I'm honored to be a Dream Keeper Initiative cohort, but I am the last voice for my family. I am the last voice. Well, actually, maybe I'm not the last voice because my son is sitting in that audience at the Board of Supervisors hearing right now. So God be with my son. Please, Lord, show him the way. Be a light for him. Let him be inspired by my example. I asked him to go there, to take pictures, to witness history, to record video. He's there. God bless his spirit and soul. God bless my ancestors. And God bless all of you for tuning in to Clari-T Media. I have so much hope and so much inspiration still left in my heart to keep going. But I am passionate about this, and that's why I'm bringing you this presentation of the San Francisco Board of Supervisors, as they hear the final reparations recommendations presented by the African American Reparations Advisory Committee. Thank you again for tuning in. Now back to regularly scheduled programming. Thank you.
Done to so many black people after Europeans invaded Africa, enslaving people, and all the unspeakable horrific acts. But we can start to undo the harm for current and future generations of black people. I want to see us immediately, I'm calling on you supervisors, to institutionalize and embed equity and justice into all government departments and programs. That needs to be the default. But make no mistake, we need to cut the check to Black San Franciscans. We must make sure that whatever the Black community decides is just is what we need to make sure happens. We need the Office of Reparations and to implement the recommendations of the Reparations Committee, not later, but now. No more deferred promises, no more broken promises. Cut the check.
Thank you so much for your comments. Let's get our next speaker.
Hello, my name is Jennifer Raviv. I'm a white woman, family member of Sir Joseph. I live in District 8. Reparations to the descendants of enslaved Africans are owed by the city. That I know. I also know there has never been a time in this country where Black people have had self-determination, that we didn't destroy, tear down in some way or another. Reparations are the beginning of turning that page. And I want to also say that slavery in America was not like slavery anywhere else. The right will say, oh, we've had it everywhere, all over the world. It's not true. Black people were turned into a form of money in this country, traded and passed down as generational wealth. The first mortgages were lending on enslaved Black people as collateral. So there is no way you can separate who we are, how we got here, from the anti-Blackness that we have embedded in all of our systems. We have seated as white people our humanity and playing along with this game. Reclaim your humanity, reclaim the city's humanity,
Thank you so much for your comments.
Reparations now.
Let's get our next speaker.
Reparations now.
Hello, Board of Supervisors in San Francisco. My name is Christina Payne, and I am raised in San Francisco in the Fillmore District. I went to Golden Gate Elementary. I went to St. Dominic's. I went to Third Baptist Church. Reverend Amos Brown and his family helped raise me. My first job was working for Mayor Willie Brown. I grew up in the projects in the Fillmore with Mayor London. I was able to get a scholarship playing sports to go to St. Ignatius. There is where I saw the divide in the city and how much we have lost. San Francisco was 50% Black at once upon a time. And I was able to get an academic scholarship to go to Howard University to get my undergrad and grad degree.
Thank you so much for your comments. Thank you for your comments.
Women are giving up their bodies because they have no way to live. And I'm saying this as a college graduate with a master's in social work. It's kids out here watching us. In San Francisco, believe in the start of gay marriage, legalized weed, even tickets at the lights. So if we do this, this now, oh my God. In the name of Jesus.
Thank you for your comments.
I'm Ariane Harrison, and I am the EDN founder of Mary Harrison Community Foundation, Inc. for Social and Environmental Justice. There can be no social justice without environmental justice. Actually, today, I'm here as a Black woman that cannot pass the paper bag test. I'm telling you that we need to call 911 if you guys do not strongly support reparations. And I am here to tell you that there has been a crime committed against human life that impacted us from the 1940s all the way to 2023. There's a lot of documentation to prove that. We have people that have been isolated and separated through redlining over to the southeast sector of San Francisco, where industry actually needs housing. I'm here to tell you that we have a 92% down of respiratory lung disease amongst children and adults there, 92%. We have a 98% down of cancer. That's almost 100% over the southeast sector. Why? Because there's a lot of notorious industry balloons that are there, and there's a lack of.
Thank you for your comments. Thank you. Thank you for your comments. Welcome.
Hi, board. My name is Dennis Bishop, second generation San Franciscan tech entrepreneur. I think the paradigm needs to shift. I think to keep asking for the same thing and there be no accountability at this point is kind of foolhardy. I don't think the 102 recommendations was for them. It's for us. Because there's no movement, right? You have to build your own. You have to build your own. You don't get what you deserve, you get what you have the power to negotiate. And if you have no power to negotiate, you get nothing.
Thank you, Dennis Bishop, for your comments.
Hello, my name is Lynn Geaver. My mom's side of the family migrated from Mexico and worked in the fields as farm workers. My father's side of the family immigrated from Europe. And I'm here to say that I 100% support reparations for Black San Franciscans. It is unquestionable. But it doesn't stop there with whatever white people, the majority, decide to give Black San Franciscans. It's not enough. And also, white supremacy has fucked us up, white people. Like, seriously. So part of the reparation should also be like really like questioning yourselves, questioning your thoughts, killing the police in your mind, not voting to give SFPD even more money to police Black people, to kill Black people, to keep them homeless, to put them in jails, to profit off of them even more. You need to kill that. You need to stop that. So next time you vote to give SFPD more money instead of investing in the Black community, you have failed.
Hello, Board of Supervisors. I'm happy to be here on this great day. My name is Ann Rubin, and I live in Supervisor Preston's district. I'm here representing the San Francisco Black and Jewish Unity Coalition. We support the historic work and report and recommendations of the advisory committee. We are a group of faith-based people from various congregations and traditions who come together to advance racial justice to build bonds. We've learned a lot over the past 2 years following the state and city task forces, and say thank you to our teachers and the community who are opening our minds and bringing us along as supporters and allies. We will continue to do our job of expanding the political will. I'd like to bring your attention to recommendation 1.9, create a Black reparations trust that can accept funds for the purpose of investing in Black communities. Quote, this entity should allow donations from individuals and corporations who want to give their land, real property, or financial assets to the reparations effort. Let's challenge the city of liberal millionaires and billionaires to help pay up. San Francisco can do this. We can do our share to correct.
Amen.
If you have that in writing and you wanted to submit that for the record, we're happy to take that, Ms. Rubin.
Come on, Miss Rubin, submit it.
Okay, welcome.
Amen.
Good afternoon, Supervisor Peskin.
Ma'am, you can pull that microphone down, make it more comfortable for you.
Okay. My name is Waynette Runnels. I was born at Mount Zion. I would say the year, but just let me put it this way. My birth certificate says Negro. I love my city. Therefore, through the grace of God, therefore go I. Please cut this check. I saw the urban renewal firsthand with my own eyes because I was old enough to see it. I feel sorry for Black people that want to come to San Francisco and get an education, but cannot because of what's going on. They see no resources for them, nowhere to go. So please, please, give us the reparations that we need. And as another brother said, it would cut down on a lot of the smash and grabs and the whatever is done, because that's the reason it's happening. Because there were no resources and nowhere to run, nowhere to hide, and just nothing. But thank you.
Thank you, Waynette Reynolds, for your comments.
Good evening. I'm Virginia Marshall, longtime educator. I retired 2 years ago from SFUSD. I just come here to stand to say thank you. Thank you to favorite son of San Francisco, Supervisor Shimon Walton. Thanks to Dr. Cheryl Davis. Thanks to the Dream Keepers Initiative. And I'm urging each of you to vote yes on the school reparation plan. You don't have to think of anything new. It is right there in front of you. You don't have to go home and do homework. You don't have to have your staff research any information. It is right there for you. Do you know that there's so many young Black people who have to commute every day to Sacramento and further if they want to buy a home? This Dream Keepers initiative will help them stay in San Francisco. If you want to keep Black folks in San Francisco, that is a great way to do it. When I drive through St. Francis, what I tell myself, every child should have a home like this instead of living on the street. Do you know many of my students here in the city?
Thank you, President Marshall. Thank you. Welcome.
Good afternoon, Board of Supervisors. Thank you very much for this hearing, and thank you very much to the African American Reparations Advisory Committee and the Human Rights Commission for the work that's gone into this report. While I am a member of the Board of Education, I am here in my capacity as a parent of 4 brilliant young Black residents of San Francisco, young adults who are questioning whether or not they can afford to live in this city into their independence and adulthood. We have lots of work to do as a city and district. I don't need to tell all you the statistics. You know, the Larry lawsuit came out of SFUSD, the opportunity gap, huge. We as a district are under sanctioned by the State Department of Education for over suspending Black youth and pushing too many Black youth into special education. So the recommendations in this report are such a great roadmap. And I really wanted to point out one of the things that was mentioned in the education section was the I Promise School in Akron, Ohio. And that is a model that was built on a huge amount of philanthropy, as well as support between the city of Akron and Akron Public Schools. And if we put that.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner Fisher, for your comments.
Greetings. My name is Letitia Irving. I am a native daughter and current resident of San Francisco's Bayview Hunters Point. I'm also a member of the African American Reparations Advisory Committee, a parent of 2 young women raised in the San Francisco Unified School District, and an educator of 23 years. I come to you today asking you to stand on the right side of history. I urge you to support the recommendations before you, recognizing that they represent the hopes, dreams, aspirations, and honestly, the just dues of a community that has far too long suffered the consequences of San Francisco's discriminatory policies, practices, and a blind eye. While San Francisco may not have participated in chattel slavery, it is undeniable that the city bears the responsibility for the painful legacy and racism and anti-Blackness that has scarred our city, stolen our wealth, blocked us from opportunity, and left us in environmental ruins. You know the data, you've seen the statistics, the harms are glaring, and we need you to step up, step out, and boldly support these recommendations. Stand tall and do what is right. Let's get to work.
Thank you, Member Irving, for your comments. Welcome.
Good afternoon. My name is Jordan. My pronouns are she, her, they, them. I don't intend to take up much space, but I think more of us white people need to speak in favor of reparations for the Black community for centuries of torment. Yeah, I'm sorry running my clock yet. I have not had a chance to go over the reparations plan, but many diverse stakeholders in the Black community have been consulted. And it's not up for us white people to question or second guess. I have a Black Lives Matter sticker on my SRO door, and I'm sure that around 80% of San Franciscans and roughly 60% of Californians agree with that sentiment on a surface level. However, when it comes to difficult decisions, especially around cops, schools, and recalls, white San Franciscans and also non-Black San Franciscans fall way short. I want to say that if you oppose reparations, you should take down your Black Lives Matter sign stickers and give away your Black Lives Matter t-shirts, because paraphrasing Holden Caulfield, you are phony-ass Karens. Put yourself on the right side of history, not the white side of history. I yield my time. Cut the fucking check.
Okay, then. Well, okay, then. Okay.
Good afternoon, Board of Supervisors. My name is Siobhan Allen, and I was born in the Fillmore Mount Sinai Hospital. My father came to San Francisco during World War II to serve his country, not fight. He was a conscientious objector. He is someone that served on the right side of history. And I'm here to honor the memory of my father who came here during World War II. He worked 2 jobs mostly.
All right, everybody. It's Alicia Mayo of Clari-T Media. I'm the CEO and founder here at Clari-T Media, Black women-led media. Okay, I am supported by the Dreamkeeper Initiative. Thankfully, and I am honored to be supported by the San Francisco Dreamkeeper Initiative. That's why I'm able to bring this live stream to you, as well as having a photographer there in the Board of Supervisors Hall in San Francisco. along with the African American Reparations Advisory Committee and the San Francisco Human Rights Commission, and all of the wonderful people supporting reparations for Black San Franciscans. My son is out there in that audience, and thank you to Leonard Mayo. Thank you so much for being there, son. I am so proud of you. He will be a part of the business now. Okay. He is officially a part of the business now that I am trying to build and create from nothing, like my mom did, and like my grandparents did, like my brother did. We built Black owned businesses from nothing in San Francisco. And thank goodness I have the support of the Dreamkeeper Initiative to now build my business and to bring my children along in the process. This is what reparations can look like, along with the $5 million check. Now, the check, cutting the check, will make a huge difference. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? All right. It will make a huge difference for me and my family and my business and the sustainability of my children and their children, my one grandson. Okay. So reparations would mean just that much if, in fact, the San Francisco Board of Supervisors supports it. And I think they will. I think they truly will do the right thing in support of reparations for Black San Francisco. Thank you to all of you for tuning in to Clari-T Media. I am going to end this broadcast now. You can go to sfgovtv.org to watch. Well, let me just go back to regular programming. Okay, let me just stop talking. Okay, here we go.
I'm Reparations member Barry. A poll was done that said 90% of Republicans are against reparations. Well, San Francisco ain't no Republican city. Some say they are against reparations for Black people, yet they were silent when other ethnicities received their reparations. Why people that are against Black folks' harm being repaired don't comprehend it will benefit them as well. I'd like to see prioritized cash payment, a Black school, and an Office of Neighborhood Safety Richmond, California model, which has drastically reduced gun violence. Whoever can influence the mayor, encourage her to release the money already budgeted for Office of Reparations. Also, do not wait for the Office of Reparations to implement policy you can implement now. You've heard priorities spoke on today, but in order to repair harm, all recommendations must be accomplished. Oh, more time? Someone please demand the city attorney to release the names of owners breaking the law by refusing to rent to voucher holders.
Thank you, Gloria Berry, for your comments. Welcome.
Hello, my name is Carl Schroeder. I was born and raised in the Fillmore area back in the 50s. I'm one of the few that's probably originally knew what was going on with the redevelopment in the process. At 1971, I got married. I had a job at the Western Addition Youth Defense Program. Within 4 years, I no longer had a residence or a job. Redevelopment gave us $1,000 a year for 4 years to exit Fillmore. So that's what we had to go through at the time. I would like to ask this body, you know, as a kid coming up, I was told there were only two major cities in the United States. One was New York and one was San Francisco. Where do we sit? Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. If you'd like to use the other podium, just over. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Keontae Clark, and I'm a resident from San Francisco. I'm a San Francisco native, to be exact. I grew up here, and I heard about my grandmother when she raised me, and she used to talk about how she used to pick cotton when she was a little girl. So I heard a lot of stories, you know, and so I kind of understand, like, you know, and I have a little history, you know, firsthand, knowing how, you know, things work. And it's like, even, you know, me growing up, I was born in the 80s, you know, and being stricken, you know, with the AIDS, I mean, not the AIDS epidemic, but the crack epidemic in the 80s, you know, having, you know, see, you know, people that look like me on drugs, being put in jail, mass incarceration, that put a big, it was real big, in my community, in a lot of Black households, you know what I'm saying? And it's like it's been so many odds against Black people, and we still seem to overcome, no matter what y'all do, y'all try to hold us back, we still have the strength and we still come through. And I wanted to say this last thing.
Thank you, Keontae Clark, for your comments.
Slave owners received reparations from the government for losing property, which were us. We were the property. They received reparations. We can't receive reparations. It's like other people, they received their reparations for the wrongdoings that were, put upon them and their, culture and their people. But it seemed like we.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for your comments.
Hello, I'm Paula Farmer of the Glad Racial Justice Group. I've been a resident of the Tenderloin for 19 years, and while not an SF native, I know for sure that I too will benefit from any recommendations put forth. Our city prides itself on diversity, innovation, and progressiveness, and if so, we cannot turn a blind eye to the historical injustices that have left a lasting impact on the lives of African Americans. Reparations are not just about addressing the past, they're about creating a more equitable future. And for centuries, African Americans have faced systemic racism and ongoing discrimination. This has resulted in a monumental wealth gap, which we know is a systemic fail that glaringly impacts us with unequal access to quality education and limited economic opportunities. Reparations with a public apology will acknowledge this painful history and provide a tangible path forward towards reconciliation. I'm urging the Board of Supervisors and the City of San Francisco to implement the suggestions put forth. Thank you.
For your comments.
Hi, my name is Brendan Collins, and I'm a student at the University of San Francisco, and I have personally witnessed the lack of resources for Black college students in this city, and I can barely even afford to stay in this city for the next semester. Black students are leaving and are terrified of what their future looks like, and I want to be able to live and work in this city. Please do right by the young people in this city and help us. I'm learning about restorative justice, and yet I am unable to see it in my own city that I love so much, but has yet to support me at all. And students like me. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments.
I also attend the University of San Francisco. The basis of what I learned as a critical diversity studies major is about Black, queer, feminist theory and literature, and that is the backbone of what has made this city progressive. So if y'all can't bear to say the word reparations, at least say the word compensation. Because the Black trans woman was the person who threw that first brick in Stonewall, and Stonewall was the revolution that made this place so queer. The feminists that we have built the backbone of this city on, that created the theory that this city was identified on, they were Black feminists. So if not reparations, then I beg you compensation for the critical, ideological, theoretical work that makes all of y'all, especially the people of color on this board, be able to sit here. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Welcome.
Welcome. Thank you very much. I want to say honor to God, to the chair, to the city family, and to the audience. I think that one thing is lacking here is how bad the church has been hidden in this city. The Black churches don't have people in the aisles. This is an exact truth of why the Black churches are being bought out and sold because of this. Reparation is needed. I support the items, but you have to respect the church. It is the beginning where Blacks learned to read because there was a Bible in that church. They had Bible study teachers who made sure they went to college. And you better be sure of one thing, you better be afraid of. You better listen because God will act and he will deliver his people.
Thank you for your comments.
My
Welcome, Mr.
name
Washington.
is Ace, ooh, and I've been on this case. Some of those people out there didn't want me all in this place, but that's no mystery. Just take my history. Ooh, I've been working on some cases involved with a lot of conspiracy. Anyway, let me just say one thing. I qualify. I'm a black man. I'm a senior. I'm a father, grandfather, great-grandfather. And my great-great-great-grandfather was George Washington. I came from this plantation. It's no hesitation, emancipation without proclamation. We need reputation. Listen, we need reputation right now. And like you said, I ain't got but 18 seconds. Ain't no jive. I want my five. There's 100 recommendations. I agree with them all. But that one particular one, ain't no jive. I want the five. And then I could carry on. My name is Ace, damn it. I'm on the case.
Thank you. Let's hear from our next speaker, please.
Hello, my name is Brenda Barros, and I'm not here speaking for myself today. Who I'm here speaking for is a plea for you guys to approve this, because I'm thinking about my 2 5-year-old grandkids that live in San Francisco. His father got killed up in Hunters Point not that long ago. Their mother works for the city at Southeast Health Center. I want to make sure that they don't end up like him. That's what this is about for me. So please, please approve all the recommendations. They're all needed.
Thank you, Brenda Barros, for your comments.
Throughout history, marginalized communities, particularly African Americans, have experienced systemic oppression, discrimination, and the enduring legacies of slavery and segregation. Reparations aim to address these historical wrongs, to heal the wounds that have been consistently ignored, and to pave the way for more and just and inclusive society. Reparations are not about dwelling on the past, but rather about creating a fairer future. I stand before you because the bells of justice are ringing. I stand before you because we must answer that call here today. We're called to make a difference in this room. We stand to make a difference in this room. We have work to do here in San Francisco, and we will always stand together to get that done. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Welcome.
Thank you. My name is Zach Manuel. I'm a proud member of the San Francisco community, and I support reparations because the historic discrimination and public policy divestment have created the modern conditions we see today within Black San Francisco. When Black students are 18 times more likely to be suspended, it reinforces the school to prison pipeline. When 12,000 Black households were destroyed through the guise of urban renewal, it cripples the generational wealth available to my community in this beautiful city. And when Black San Franciscans are hospitalized for depression more than any other demographic, it's a sign. All of this is available in the report, by the way, which I encourage you to take a deep look into. Each of you have voiced your own significant support of reparations. We were all here in March. All we ask is that you have the will to live to the truth of your values. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments.
My name is Hatim Mansouri, and a proud Black San Franciscan and a proud product of SFUSD. So let's get down right to it. You've all heard the evidence that you need in order to make the decision. I understand that you may have reservations about accepting all of the recommendations and the recommendations, but there are some things that you can do today. Is voice your support to fund and establish the Office of Reparations so that they can do the hard work necessary to implement the reparations. And ultimately, reparations is a moral question that has a logical answer. Are the harms observed? Yes. Is there a debt owed? Yes. Are reparations deserved? Yes. Does it harm others to implement reparations? No. For all these reasons, reparations should be implemented. Be on the right side of history, support reparations, change the world, and if you lack the funding, as my pastor, Reverend Brown, said, put on layaway.
Thank you for your comments. Next speaker, welcome.
Hi, my name is Leo. I go to the University of San Francisco, and I'm a part of the Black Scholars Program. And I just want to thank everybody who got San Francisco to be at the point where they could do like the bare minimum for Black people. Like, thanks, Reparations Committee, you guys, and my professor, Dr. Davis. Thank you, especially. Can you guys like do me a favor and like do the bare minimum for Black people? Like, please. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments.
Good afternoon, supervisors. My name is John McCormick. I just want to start by saying thank you to Supervisor Walton for putting this forward, and thank you to the Reparations Committee for all the work that y'all done to get us where we're at today. I just want to speak briefly on the incredible opportunity that is presented to you all right now, the incredible opportunity for San Francisco in terms of the history of this great city and being able to do something great for the people that live here, in terms of the opportunities that are presented for the people that live here in San Francisco, in terms of the opportunities presented for the possibility of this being something that could be replicated if it's just done first, if it's done first by an incredible city like the one that we all live and love. This opens up the possibility for reparations work to be done in other major cities across the United States. And I think
All right, everyone. This is Alicia Mayo, CEO and founder of Clari-T Media. Thank you so much for having tuned in and watched this live presentation of the African American Reparations Advisory Committee and the San Francisco Human Rights Commission, along with the beautiful Black and brown and white brothers and sisters, Asian, and all the rest of the folks who joined in unity and in solidarity. Thank you all for tuning in. I am so proud to be a Black San Franciscan. I'm so proud to be from San Francisco. I am absolutely proud. This is international history. This is breaking news. We will make this a reality, and we will set the precedents for the rest of the world, for the rest of Black people across the world who are descendants of slaves. Thank you, dear Lord. Thank you for giving us the energy and the perseverance and the strength to continue this work. It has not been easy, but here we are today, continuing the work of trying to just get free. We're just trying to be free like our ancestors. God bless their spirits and lift up our children and our grandchildren. And thank you all so much for tuning in to Clari-T Media and watching this evening. Now, I'm on my way to dial in to make my own public comment, and hopefully they'll let me in. But so I want you to go to SFGOV TV, that's sfgovtv.org, and just tap on one of the channels, either channel 26 or channel 78, and let me just show you how to do that on screen here. So you will come to SFGOV TV, and right here where you see watch SFGov TV on channel 26 or watch SFGov TV on channel 78, and you tap on one of them and the live coverage will come up and you will see it here. Just press play. Okay, so thank you all. Thank you so much. I will talk with you all soon. I love you. I hope that you have enjoyed this. Please share this with your friends and family. Okay, thank you. We'll see each other soon. God bless you.